I finally got to meet
Right?
you. Oh, man.
After all these years.
It's unbelievable.
Insane.
Man, oh, man.
So
I'm so happy to meet you.
I'm not really sure where we start this, but
I don't either.
after years and years of me using the NTI EQ2 and just being completely in love with it, I base every single mix I've done since, wow, I want to say 1990 maybe?
Yeah, right around that.
About
when we came out of it.
1990.
Yeah.
Dave Pensato turned me onto this piece of equipment. I passed him in the hallway over at Enterprise Studios, and I can't remember what either of us were mixing, but Dave passes me in the hallway and says, "Jimbo, you got to come in my room. Check this out." So I walk over to Dave's room, and he shows me this blue-faced EQ that's got like 5 pots, and it's all fixed band, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, are you serious? Really? Really? And then he did the switch for me in and out. And I about fell on the floor. Before I shit myself, I about fell on the floor with what this did to the mix. It was mind-boggling. So I immediately walked back to my room and I called you guys. And I told you that David hooked me up and that we should talk and I need to get one. And I had one 2 days later. And it's never been, if I go anywhere in the world, it's with me.
Wow.
And if it's not my own, it's a rental. But
So wherever you're going to mix,
wherever I do a mix, NTI has been right there with me.
all these years. Wow.
All these years.
There's no way I would have ever known that.
All these years,
Just to
man.
talk to you about it. Man, that's just so cool.
And you know what's really funny too is that, you know, I spoke to the guys that you were in business with, and I had a long conversation about Maggie Thatcher and the London Philharmonic, and I got the CDs, and I got all that stuff, and it was just like, whoa. But what it did for me, what freaked me out, was that on the demos, you're in an orchestral environment.
Yeah.
And I'm in a full-on rock environment.
Yeah, just totally.
And the versatility of a piece of equipment like that is absolutely invaluable. And I mean, how do you do that? It was the original, to me, of the stereo bus treatments. And I remember going back to Dave Pensato like 2 days later after I got it, because I started using it immediately. And not only did I start using it immediately, but I recalled 4 mixes that I'd already finished on that project.
Wow.
And I remixed those through the NTI. I was so blown away by it. I was so completely blown away by it. And I've never put it down. And here you are in my house. What a privilege!
Oh, well, it's, boy, what a privilege for me. It's humbling to me, and I know it, just to think that, you know, we had all created something that, you know, meant so much to you and made a difference in the things that you worked on and did,
man.
You know, all these years.
It changed my life.
Yeah,
Changed my life. It just, it was like finally someone got what you need on an output of a console. Finally, someone realized what that was, and it was in steps, and it was, it was just, it was heaven.
Yeah, and you could get to recall where you were at, and it delivered every time you pulled up. And
it's awesome, and it's funny because I think for any budding engineers that are listening, when I first got it, I would always pull the mix up, and then I would add the EQ after the fact. And then it dawned on me, what are you thinking? And I started putting the subs in before I would even start the mix. I would turn my subs to 5, and I would start EQing the drums around the NTI. And then, you know, of course, if I needed a little bit of 2.5, you throw that in once you get, you know, all your guitars and vocals in, general balance. It's like, okay, I'm a little dark. You hit the 2.5 just 1 notch, and it's like, whoa, all right. And then you get another 3-4 hours down the track, and it's well, what's happening to all the air on my vocals? I'm not hearing the air on my vocals. And guess what? You hit the air band and go 1 notch, 2 notch. Oh my God. I don't have to change the EQ of the vocals on my console.
Yeah.
I can just do it on the stereo output bus. And guess what? When I do that, it doesn't make my drums disappear, and it doesn't make my hi-hat disappear. In fact, they come with the vocals, and the edge on the guitars comes up with everything. It was just wonderful. It was wonderful for me.
Wow, isn't that?
So it's a pea soup I am still using to this day. And fortunately for me, Cliff and I connected, and I've just finished mixing an album for a band called Queensryche, which a lot of people don't know, some do. But it's the first album I've personally mixed in the box. And Cliff supplied me, because my original EQ3 is permanently installed at a facility in Playa del Rey with my partner JJ Farris, and we don't really pull it out of the rack. It's there forever. So I made the decision to mix the Queensryche album downstairs in Silver Lake Pro, and Chad Genderson had already hooked up with Cliff.
With the EQ4s.
And had the EQ4s.
This EQ2.
I'm holding an EQ2.
Yeah.
But I actually mixed the Queensryche album through an EQ4. So I'm excited to hear this too. Cliff is over here today to introduce this to me. So I'm ready for this one too. But I can't even tell you, just after, 20 years to have you
it's
sitting here with me is just awesome.
What
it's
an honor
wonderful.
to me. Man, you're awesome, buddy. It's just wonderful. This business is just one of the most exciting things, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
You have that passion
really is.
for the sound.
Yeah.
That's why it means so much to you. That is why this was developed, is to get those sounds. That's why all of it came about.
It
was
works.
My passion to get the sound that best I could, too. And work with the people that it took to get it. And it's just so exciting to have.
I think we can only go so far, but when you stick this in right at the end, and I never start a mix without it in.
Isn't that so?
I have it backed off, I have my subs at 5, and I shape my bottom end around what I've got.
Yeah.
And I'm used to that, and it just what it does for me.
What a great tip you just gave so many young engineers, though.
I hope so.
That is a huge tip. And I heard you loud and clear, and I think that's a great way to look at where you start your mix, so that you know where that needs to be, and you're building around what the EQ is going to do.
Of course, what it does is that if you're on a console that doesn't have as many bells and whistles or tone, great tone.
Yeah. Yep.
I just find that starting with the subs on 5 on my EQ3 is...
You're going to get all of that that's in there, and, and then you move it where it needs to be.
And especially if you're mixing other people's multi-tracks. It's another thing if I'm mixing something that I've worked on. But even that, when I track it, I'll put plus 11 at 35 hertz on a kick drum.
Yeah.
But still, when I come up to mix, I start where I'm at. And I feel happy, and my bottom end's enormous.
Yeah,
my mid-range is intact, and my top end is transparent, and it's clean, and I love it.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
One thing
that's exciting.
Yeah, he hasn't heard that yet.
I haven't heard this yet.
Maybe we'll take it down, and he'll take a listen, and we'll come up and see what he thinks when we get done.
You know what? That's probably a good idea. I think we should have a couple more beers.
Yeah,
we'll go
let's do that. That'll help.
We'll go downstairs to the control room. And we'll plug this in and start taking a look at things. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
You're on
right there.
Yeah, I just kind of tweak.
That's wicked how close that is.
Is that crazy? With 2 bands.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It'll be alright. It'll be alright. Won't be long.
remarkably close. I'm halfway through mixing this Systemic album on through the EQ4s.
Uh-huh.
And Cliff has just swapped out to the EQ2s.
Yeah.
And dialed up the exact same sound I got out of the EQ4s. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how he did it. I haven't looked at it yet. What is your secret?
Crazy. It's crazy, but
it's pretty insane. It's pretty amazing that, wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. And I'm over the nasty ass workarounds and everything you've made, man. It's just...
Well, it's musical.
It's awesome.
And it's not what you start out with. It's not going to rip it apart.
No,
it's going to, when you put it in and you A/B it, and when that is breaking it down in 5 bands, you have got what you started with.
You're preaching to the converted.
Yeah, you know.
Trust me.
And I'm just so glad that it's been something that, it's just humbling to me that it's been something that's helped you do what you need to do and made it where you can do it fast, and you got it.
Thank God for Dave Pensado.
Yeah.
Who turned me on to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure grateful
and if you're
to
watching
Dave.
this, Dave,
I sure appreciate him too.
You rock. Thank you.
Yeah, you do rock.
I've used it ever since. Thanks so much, man.